Okay, here is a big one. Earlier this week, the Canadian Centre on Substance Abuse and Addiction released their guidance on alcohol and health. The updated guidelines suggest no amount of alcohol is completely safe, and low-risk drinking means a maximum of 2 drinks per week. According to the center, the advice reflects thousands of recent studies linking even small amounts of alcohol to several types of cancer based on the findings. Some experts are lobbying for now for warning labels on alcohol containers. So, what do we think of these guidelines? And is it time for these warning labels? Our audience clearly has an opinion.
They're divided.
They're
it
mixed.
seems. Yeah.
Honestly, I was thinking why can't we do something a little bit more practical? You know, if the government wants to spend money and really create this idea of better lifestyle, how we eat, health, everything, why not incorporate it in the school system? You know, why not have a class, why not have a class in high school? You know, now that I'm hearing some things, maybe elementary, but a class in high school where you're being peer pressure to do all these things and there's all these vices. Why not break down those type of things in that setting, right? And promote more of a longevity, a sustainable mindset of what to do or how to treat your body, how to pour into your body and so forth. I feel like that would be more practical.
They do have that to an extent. I have a 9-year-old, and so this year, grade 4, they are starting to talk about alcohol. I even remember that back in the day, but it was more framed when I was growing up under the addiction idea, less so about linking it to cancer. And so I think you raise a valid point. I'm not sure what the guidelines are saying right now in terms of kids, but I just find it interesting that I remember about 20 years ago, I was going to I have cysty breasts, sorry if this is TMI, so I was getting a mammogram and an ultrasound quite a long time ago, and in the intake form, it asked how much alcohol I drank. So clearly there was a link being made even 15, 20 years ago. Around the same time, I remember hearing a report on the radio saying that no amount of alcohol is safe. And then nobody really talked about it. And I wonder how people are squaring this idea that for so many years, the message was, in moderation, Mediterraneans do it, it's healthy. A glass of wine is healthy with this other extreme version. I think this is gonna be a really interesting challenge. Especially when you have some facts that are curious, like Spain and South Korea are 2 countries where people on average drink more than us and live longer. So what does this say about the way in which we drink or the other things we're doing in our lives that contribute to ill health?
That's a great question. I just want to expand on that a little bit longer, a little bit further, because you know they release these world expectancy, life expectancy lists, and so Hong Kong, where my parents are from, #1 for world expectancy. #2, Japan. South Korea is up there, Singapore is up there, and these are cultures where drinking it's called a drinking culture. You go out after work, you drink, you're expected to drink. In Hong Kong, there's a huge bar scene. People are going back after work, not at 6, but at 9:30, 10 o'clock. In these cultures, you also work until 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So it's not even just about lifestyle, because these are high demand, high octane industries and lifestyles. And even still, they're living longer and consuming a lot of alcohol. It's a strange thing, Cynthia, is what I'm saying, is there are so many factors involved with health. Definitely we should be careful with what we put on our body. I agree. But I don't know that it's as simple as cut out one thing and you're done, you know?
So, if anybody follows me on Instagram, they know I've been sober for the last 4 months, and I'll tell you why. And it's my choice. I'm not asking anybody to do it. This study that was just released at the beginning of this week was actually released to the public in August, and they were doing consultations with Canadians. We found all of these. These are our findings from looking at over 6,000 studies over the last 12 years, and what we're finding now is really startling, but we want to present it to Canadians and so that you can have consultations and have some feedback. And when I read the study in August, it scared the hell out of me. I never have had a drink since. And I'll tell you why. And that's me making my choice. I got really angry, actually. I'm still angry about this. And the problem is I don't know who I'm angry at, because what we're seeing is it's not just correlation. It's not like people who drink and then they also potentially get 7 types of cancer. It's causal. This many drinks by this kind of person is going to very, very highly likely lead you to one of 7 types of cancer, if not more. I don't know about anybody else. That scares the heck out of me, because so many people we know, 1 out of 2 people will be diagnosed with cancer. If there's anything that I can do and information that I can get my hands on to reduce my risk, I want to. And you guys know, hold on, I'm not done yet. So what I'm mad at is who was responsible for telling us that information as to this is what a serving of an alcoholic drink looks like. It's this size, this much alcohol. They're now telling us once upon a time it was up to 2 drinks a day. The research and the science has evolved. As we've said, it's now 2 drinks maximum per week to be considered low risk. And I am asking for labels on containers. I want to know, in this bottle of wine, how many servings is that? Because some people might say, oh, that's 4 servings. Somebody else's math might say it's actually 6. You know those tall boy cans of beer? They're everywhere. There's a lot of craft breweries. A lot of people say that's a serving. It's actually, in many cases, 2.5. So you have one of those. So who's educating us? And I don't know. There's a lot of people I could probably point the finger at. But for me, I believe that the public needs information in order to make better decisions.
I hear you.
And I don't know who's been keeping the information from us. I'm mad that it's been kept from us. I'm glad this information is out, because now all of us can make the decisions that suit our lifestyle.
I think you raise a really good point. And if we compare it to cigarettes, which many people are doing, that the warning labels have been one piece of helping people become more informed, like you're saying. But there was other things that have contributed to less smoking. It's a culture shift. It's been less popular and less you can't, it's less socially acceptable to smoke anymore. It's been pushed out and pushed further. You can't do it here, can't do it there. So our entire—
And you can't smoke inside.
That's right. And our entire way of looking at alcohol has to shift, because we have a problem here. And it goes back to our first conversation. We work long hours. People are commuting. People are away from their families. And alcohol in our culture is the quickest way to say, I'm off the clock. And I think until we shift this kind of, again, go back to work-life balance, we need to have different release valves in our culture that allow us to be, experiencing pleasure, indulging in pleasure in safe ways. And I don't think right now we have those things set up. So it's one piece of the puzzle that will help.
I will say there's lots of great alternatives. Follow me on Instagram. This is my new passion project. I don't know about you guys, but I love the socializing that comes with drinking. Let's be honest. And I don't want to give that up, but I don't want the alcohol. So there are amazing non-alcoholic and low alcoholic alternatives out there. A lot of great Canadian companies are getting on top of this. You want a zero-proof tequila? It exists. You want a zero-proof gin? It exists. You want a zero-proof rye? It exists. You want zero alcohol wine?
Sure.
So
talk to someone who's pregnant. They know. You have to find do you have a mocktail version of this?
Yes.
So I can be included? But yeah, I totally agree with everything that you're saying. It's important to have those alternatives to that socializing of.
I still want to see you and get together, and I like this motion. I really do. I just don't want alcohol in it. That's all.
I feel you.
Hey there, wasn't that great? Do you know where you can find some equally good content? Our YouTube page. It's filled with discussions, debates, and some laughs. Head there now, like and subscribe.